We are here on a compliance hearing following an order to participate. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Mr. Hill is with us representing the child. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the father, Mr. Reeves, who is with us, and Mr. Taylor is with us representing the mother, Mrs. Reeves, who is with us. And we are ready to proceed. And the report didn't really tell me what the parents have done. It just told me what they were ordered to do, and I already knew that. So
I'll ask, Your Honor.
okay. All right. Mr. Alvey, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Miss Bridget
Thank you,
Jordan.
Mr. Alvey.
Miss Jordan, you're an FBS worker in the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Correct.
In that capacity, are you familiar with Brittany and Christian Reeves, the parents in this case?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start with Miss Reeves. She was ordered to work some services. Can you tell the court where she is at in participating in the services she was ordered to?
So she has gotten the counseling, the couples counseling for her and Christian set up. They are both doing that. And she is attending the domestic violence support group on Thursdays with Traley. She has been to, I know for sure, at least 2, but I think she's been to 3 of those.
Are there other services that she was ordered to work that she has not started at this time?
In the court order, it suggested that she take parenting classes, but in my assessment with the family, I didn't see where that was needed.
Okay, so are you asking?
I mean, we can still do those if we need to. I can provide like parenting packets if needed, but I mean, the kids are very well taken care of.
Are you asking the court to remove that portion of the order that in the service plan?
Yes.
Christian is doing some family counseling. Are there other services that he's been ordered to work that he is continuing to work on at this time?
Yes, sir. He has been ordered to do anger control training and rational behavior therapy with Troy Timmons' office. He was scheduled for the anger control training for yesterday. However, he was supposed to meet with his probation officer who would not change their appointments, according to Mr. Reeves. And so he was unable to attend, and he has to re-sign up for a different date. He is signed up for the rational behavior training for their next class in November. And BIP, through Family Support Services, he should be calling them to get that scheduled. And then the couples counseling with Brittany has already started.
Sounds like the parents are cooperating with you in attempting to get all of their services at least started.
Yes, sir.
And with that in mind, are you asking the court to continue the order to participate and continue this case?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Then you are pleased with Brittany's cooperation and progress?
Yes, sir. She has been very communicative with me. She meets with me when needed. She will text or call me if she needs anything or just to give me updates about services or the kids.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Jordan, are you satisfied with the progress of Christian Reeves?
Currently, yes, sir. I mean, the case is very, very new. So just getting their services started is all I expected them to be able to do before this court hearing.
Okay, pass the witness, Your Honor.
Right, Mr. Hill.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Right, Mr. Alvey, anything further?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right, Mr. Taylor, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No witnesses, we rest.
Thank you. Mr. Hill, any recommendations?
Judge, I recommend that we continue as we are. I think the children are doing well and placement's good. So just everybody keep up the good work and let's keep going.
Okay. All right then. I agree with what Mr. Hill had. The parents are making good early progress. That's good to see. Mr. Reeves, this is not, I'm not pointing you out, but just so you know, you need to get that BIP scheduled because it's the longest thing that you're going to have to do. So the longer it takes to get started, the longer it'll be before you finish. And that means this case may drag on longer than it really needs to. So that's, I'm not ordering you that. I'm just suggesting that to move this case along. So, okay, then, Mr. Albee, you want a compliance hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. At least 60 days out if we can.
Okay, I've got December 8th or January 12th.
Let's do January the 12th, Your Honor.
Okay, that probably makes sense. Like as I said, that BIP program takes longer than a lot of these other services. So, okay, I will set the next compliance hearing for January 12th, 2024. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing. So parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two before January 12th to see exactly what time of the day we'll have that hearing. So, I commend both the parents on jumping on these services. It's nice to see this case probably can go faster than a lot of cases do. So on a permanency hearing. All right, we will stand in recess. Mr. Albee is with us for the department. Ms. Ledbetter is with us representing CASA. Mr. Turner is with us representing the child. Mr. Dominguez is with us. And it says Garcia. I'll get to that here in just a second. She is also with us. Let me go back and see. All right. I think I've admonished both parents probably at the first hearing on their right to an attorney. So I don't show any attorneys currently for either parent. Ms. Garcia, if you'd unmute.
Yes, sir.
At one point you had, I guess you'd retained Renika Hayes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is she still your attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you let her go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And then, Mr. Garcia, did I admonish you originally on your right to a court-appointed attorney if you can't afford an attorney?
Yes, sir. I did put in the paperwork, but I don't have one yet.
Okay. I haven't seen the paperwork. So who'd you give it to?
I don't even know. I'll have to follow up on that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you have an email address?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you want to, when you're through, you can call my office.
Yes, sir.
If you have something to write with, I'll give you our phone number right now.
Judge, while he does that, just this past week, Ms. Garcia did bring in her paperwork and we appointed Cody Pirtle. I'm trying to get a hold of him right now to see if he can come in, but he previously appointed her before Renika Hayes.
Okay. Oh, I remember we talked about this, Haley. So, all right, Ms. Garcia, your attorney is going to be, his name is Cody Pirtle.
Yes, sir.
And if you'll get something to write with, we can give you his phone number. It'll be up to you to contact him to set up the appointment.
Okay, I have it, sir.
Yeah, she has it. I contacted her.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, just go ahead and contact him and schedule an appointment with him. All right, Mr. Garcia, you got something to write on?
Yes, sir. 5686.
Yeah, and Haley Morrow's my coordinator. She can send this paperwork to you by email, or we can get it to y'all. Figure out what's the quickest way to do it. But it has come back to me a lot of times. If it goes back to the department, I never see it. So be sure you give me a good phone number, address, and email address, and that way we'll notify you if you qualified, and if so, we'll tell you who your attorney is and how to contact them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right then, Mr. Albee, I have Heidi Combs in the waiting room.
She's who I need, Your Honor. Where is he currently placed?
He is currently placed in Levelland, Texas,
Is that what type of home is he placed in?
a foster home.
And is that placement meeting all of his needs at this time?
Yes, sir.
Any special issues or special needs that have arisen that we need to make the court aware of?
No, sir.
Ezra's just 15 months old, so he's just an infant. Is he being made sure that he's gotten to all of his medical appointments?
Yes, sir.
Is he meeting all of his developmental milestones?
Yes, sir.
His mother is Star Dominguez.
Yes, sir.
she was ordered to work services through a service plan. Is she working the services set forth in that service plan?
Yes, sir. She has completed all of them except for to finish up couples counseling.
Part of the reason that Ezra is in the care of the department is that she had some substance abuse issues. Is she cooperating with random drug screens?
Yes, sir.
When was the last time that you drug screened her?
It was in, let's see here. It was in September.
And what type of drug screen was that?
Hair follicle.
And what were the results of that hair follicle drug screen?
She was positive for methamphetamines at 7,949.
And is it your understanding that the substance that she was abusing when Ezra was removed was methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
Have you discussed with Ms. Garcia or Ms. Dominguez this latest setback on her drug performance?
Yes, sir.
And what is her response to you?
She admits that she did slide back a little. She was set up for a second OSAR and she completed it, but I have not got the results back.
Okay, so that was my next question, was what was the next steps? So she went and did a second OSAR evaluation, and you're waiting on the results of that.
Yes, sir.
Is she still currently residing with Mr. Garcia in Plainview?
No, sir.
Where does she reside?
She is in Dalhart.
Do you know if she's residing with any person?
She just said a friend.
Do you know who that friend is?
No, sir.
You have any idea what the criminal history or background of that person is?
No, sir.
Would you agree with me that it would be unsafe to return to his mother at this time?
No, sir. It would not be safe.
Okay. And it would be contrary to his general welfare to return Ezra to Star at this time?
Yes, sir.
Damien Garcia has been determined to be the father to Ezra. He was also ordered to work services in a service plan. Has he been working the services set forth in that service plan?
Somewhat compliant. He still has BIB to finish, couples counseling, and his second OSAR assessment.
Let's talk about BIP. BIP is important because there were allegations of domestic violence in the home.
Yes, sir.
A second OSAR is what you said. So did Mr. Garcia also, has he been cooperating with random drug screens?
Yes, sir.
And when was his last random drug screen?
It was August 26th.
And what type of drug screen was that?
Hair follicle.
And what were the results of that hair follicle drug screen?
Positive for methamphetamines.
Methamphetamines has also been an issue with Mr. Garcia.
Yes, sir.
And have you discussed the results of this drug screen with Mr. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
What was his response?
He agreed to a second OSAR assessment, but he did not make that one.
Do you know if there is a second OSAR assessment scheduled at this time?
He had one scheduled for yesterday, but he did not show up.
Would you agree with me, but because of the failure to complete the BIP program in the positive drug screens, that it would be unsafe to return Ezra to Mr. Garcia's care at this time?
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with me that it would be against the general welfare of Ezra to return him to either parent today?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking then that the department be maintained as temporary managing conservator, and then we continue the case, continue Ezra in his current placement?
Yes, sir.
Pass witness, Sharon.
Right. Ms. Combs, what was Mr. Garcia's level of meth on his August 26th?
It was 2,711.
How did that compare to his last hair follicle?
It has gone down. I don't have a level for the last, actually I do. Let me see what his last one was. Let's see. He had a hair follicle May 9th of 2023, and it was 31,269.
Okay, so it's gone down substantially.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then. Miss Garcia, if you'd unmute, I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You came up today as Star Garcia, and you're pled in this case as Star Dominguez. What's your legal name? Is it Dominguez or Garcia?
Dominguez.
Okay. Is that what's on your birth certificate and your driver's license and so forth?
No, it's Garcia.
On
I
your
changed it.
on your driver's license or your birth
Yes,
certificate?
sir.
Okay.
On my license, it's
Okay,
Garcia.
but-
On my birth certificate, it's Dominguez.
Okay, got you. All right, we're going to leave you as you are. Mr. Alva, you can plead an AKA if you think you need to, but that clears it up for the court. So, okay. All right, then, Ms. Garcia, do you have any questions to ask Ms. Combs today?
Judge, I'm sorry. Cody Pirtle's been in the waiting room, or he
Oh.
is. Right now.
Oh, let's get him in.
Right.
All right, Ms. Pirtle, we've had one witness, Heidi Combs. I'm going to go ahead, since you just now realize you're back in this case, and I was just about to ask Ms. Dominguez, your client, if she had any questions. I'm going to put you on the waiting room. She can bring you up to speed where we are, so that if you need to discuss anything with her before we go any further.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
We may be on television or on YouTube, but this is a courtroom, so you need to put out that cigarette and take off your cap.
Yes, sir.
All right, then, Mr. Pirtle, as I said, if you have any questions for Ms. Combs before we move on, now would be the time to ask them.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Ms.
Ms. Combs,
Combs.
you'll need to unmute Ms. Combs. Go ahead, Mr. Pirtle.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Combs, is it true that Ms. Star Dominguez's levels have consistently gone down throughout the period of this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is it true that she's making progress in all of her services except for couples counseling with Damien?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that couples counseling still scheduled?
Yes.
Okay. And it's true that his levels have gone down too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At what point in time would it be acceptable to the department to start a monitored return with Star Dominguez and her child?
Well, let me clarify something, Mr. Pirtle. I don't know what you heard, but the testimony from Ms. Combs was that Ms. Dominguez admitted a relapse.
Oh, okay.
So that might short circuit some of your questions about monitored
Okay.
return.
Yes. And so are you looking for another 6 months of sobriety or 3 months before you consider a monitored return?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right. Mr. Turner, any questions?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Ezra is currently developmentally on track.
Yes, sir.
Does he have any health issues that have arisen or not been resolved?
No, sir.
He's walking, eating fine.
He is walking everywhere. He eats great. I just have one question the placement had asked me. Could I ask it?
Yes, ma'am.
She was wanting to know if she can trim Ezra's hair because it gets in the way of him eating.
Ms. Garcia is shaking her head no.
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 Ms. Combs, unless it becomes some kind of physical issue or maybe emotional issue for a child, then this court doesn't usually get involved in haircutting. I get involved in medical matters, but not haircutting. So, okay. All right.
So to continue, there are no medical or health issues that Ezra is experiencing or hasn't resolved?
No, sir.
Have either mother or father been to any sort of drug rehab program?
Yes. Star has. She went to Senacor.
And as far as anything
Yes,
that would be, anything that would be further recommended by the department on drug rehab, I assume that you're waiting on them to complete their scheduled OSAR evaluations.
Yes, sir.
And then that recommendation will be determined at that time.
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry, she went to Serenity, not Senacor.
I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Garcia, do you have any questions for Ms. Combs today?
No, sir. I did go to Serenity also.
Okay. But you also had this is what concerns the court. We're almost a year into this case and we've got parents that are still testing positive for meth. So I'll admonish both you parents, this is not headed in the right direction. So, Ms. Combs, did Mr. Garcia you mentioned a second OSAR. Did he originally do an OSAR? Because the report said he had not done an OSAR.
Well, it was scheduled, but I don't believe it was done because there's no documentation of it.
Did you ever do an OSAR, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, sir. I have done one, and I actually had one scheduled. I thought it was today, but it was yesterday, and I actually missed it. I was in the service field and didn't have service. I'll get in contact with her again today.
When did you do your first OSAR? Because the report I read said you have not done it.
It's been 6 months or so ago. It was before I ever even started BIP. I only got like 6 classes, I think, left on BIP, and I've already completed that before, and I did that with Sarah in Lubbock.
Okay, BIP has nothing to do with OSAR. OSAR is to see if you got a drug problem.
Yes, sir. I did that with Sarah like 6 months ago, right before I started BIP.
Ms. Combs, you know who Sarah is?
Sarah Fuentes, she's the OSAR coordinator in Lubbock.
Okay, well, you need to get with her because he's saying he did it, and you're saying he didn't. And here we're at the end of this case, and he's not had any drug treatment. So this needs to get done.
He did have an appointment for March 31st, and he canceled it and rescheduled it for April 11th. He no-showed for the 4/11 appointment and has not rescheduled it.
All right. No, my point is, excuse me, Mr. Garcia, don't interrupt me. My point is you're not even aware that he's done one, and he says he has, and we're almost at the end of this case. So you need to jump on that and see if it is and what was recommended for him, because he's running out of time to do anything that's recommended as far as his drug treatment, because I'm not seeing any reason to extend this case right now. So this is just admonishment to everybody. We're running out of time here. All right, then. Anybody else have further questions for Ms. Combs? All right. Anything else, Ms. Dominguez, from you today? Mr. Pirtle?
No, Judge.
All right. Mr. Garcia, anything else from you today?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Turner, any recommendations?
Your Honor, I would recommend that the department be maintained as the temporary managing conservator and that placement be continued, and obviously that the parents be ordered to complete their OSAR evaluations.
All right, thank you. Anything on behalf of CAFA?
We're in agreement with Mr. Turner.
Okay, give me just a second. All right, then I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator, continue Ezra's current placement. I will order both parents to immediately schedule and complete the OSAR assessments and follow all recommendations. As I stated earlier, we are running out of time. The final in this case is set for December 1st, 2023. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so all parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see what time that hearing will take place. And I'll just, again, I've sent out a standing order for this court, but I just want to remember and recommend, be sure everybody remembers, any motions to extend this case have to be filed and heard at least 10 working days prior to the final hearing date, or they'll automatically be overruled. So, all right. I believe this was our last hearing for the day, so we will stand in recess. Y'all have a good weekend.